So good evening. I think firstly that it is absolutely shocking to be able to hear of the systemic abuses going on. And I would also like to further what the Foreign Secretary said, that people would like to see her alive and well. But to clarify that, he said that people would like to see her alive and well, and not that the UK Foreign Office would like to see her alive and well.
Right. So you'd like to see the government doing more?
Absolutely. The Foreign Secretary says that the UK regularly raises human rights abuses with countries such as the UAE, but they released a statement last year in December where they said, in several cases, including my own, that they failed to raise these human rights abuses and they failed to represent British citizens, let alone someone such as Princess Latifa, who is very clearly being tortured by her own family, that the UK government is happy to stand by and let this continue.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, we don't know she's being tortured. Ahmed Benchemsi, how concerned are you by all this?
We are very concerned. I mean, we knew that she was being held prisoner since quite a long time, since her latest attempt to escape in 2018. But now those videos that recently surfaced, there are more details. She explains how she was abducted at sea while she was trying to flee and to retrieve freedom. She explained that like she is in a villa, but she calls it a prison villa with the doors and windows shut, and basically she's in isolation. It's like when you're in prison and you're in isolation. It is considered torture after 2 weeks. It's been 3 years in her case. So yes, we are very concerned by this situation.
Right, fair enough. And Matthew, I mean, you were held in prison. She's being held in a villa, as Ahmed said, or was being held in a villa. But I mean, she's now seemingly vanished. Does this bring back what happened to you?
So I would like to clarify, I wasn't held in prison. Much like Princess Latifa being held in a villa, I was held in an office. There was no justice, there was no accountability. It is extrajudicial. This is being conducted outside of a legal system. This is being conducted in a illegal manner. And I think exactly what Ahmed said, this does constitute torture for prolonged solitary confinement.
Right. So, and you said at the time that you were psychologically tortured. And I have to say, some of the videotapes released suggest Latifa is in considerable distress herself.
Absolutely. And the fact that this has had to occur and this has had to be made public because she hasn't been heard from in such a long time would illustrate a serious threat and danger to her life. There is no evidence of how she is doing physically, mentally. And the last time this did happen, they manipulated the situation with Mary Robinson to make it seem like she was absolutely okay and everything was normal.
Ahmed, what do you think the international community could be doing? The UK, for instance, because there are clear and close links between the UK and Sheikh Mohammed.
Well, the international community should be pressuring the UAE more and showing that it doesn't buy the rosy narrative that is circulated by UAE authorities, which is that the country is painting itself as a progressive, tolerant, right-respecting nation. They said it clearly. They have this soft power strategy, but you can't do that while at the same time you imprison people and torture them psychologically outside of any judicial process. When you violate women's rights and human rights in such a blatant fashion, I mean, what the foreign government should do is tell the UAE, we won't take any of those things, and we won't indulge this tale about the UAE painting itself as an open and tolerant country why such things happen.
And I mean, the office of the UN High Commissioner, Ahmed, Commissioner for Human Rights, says it will question the UAE about this. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention says it will look at the videos, analyse the videos. Is that enough?
Well, that's not enough, but that's certainly good. That's certainly a good step. And we hope that this time, what happened with former UN envoy Mary Robinson will not happen again. She described at first what she called a troubled young woman right after meeting her, but then she explained that she was, and I quote her again, horribly tricked by the authorities because it was a setup basically, and she realized that woman she was sitting next to was a hostage and a prisoner. Now I hope that if there are more inquiries, they will be done open-eyed and realize that the situation is serious.
Yeah. Matthew, I mean, this is a princess, which clearly brings the story into the headlines, but presumably there are many other people, or certainly other people in the judicial system or quasi-judicial system, as you described in the UAE, who are, human rights activists are also concerned about. And this, I guess, does help put all that in some sort of focus. So
let me just reiterate the fact that there is a formal legal process for persons who have committed, they have acted illegally. But for UAE nationals, that type of protection, and it just doesn't exist. These villas are synonymous with this torture, with this punishment that goes across society. And once you enter that system, much like the gulags in the Soviet Union, people disappear. These villas are, I was threatened with the villas. People get physically tortured. They disappear and families don't know whatever happens to them. And this can happen to anyone. The only reason that we know what happened to Princess Latifa is because she was recording those messages and her friends published them. The only reason that you know what happened to me is because my wife finally had to go public because the Foreign Office wasn't helping my situation. I didn't see the embassy for 2 months.